Hi there guys. I'm just going to take you through how to create a basic, very basic race mod, how to basically edit and change the stock standard human, and most of the principles are going to be the same for more advanced race mod creation, but I don't know everything about it, so some of the details here may be a little bit wrong, but it should at least get you started and get you much closer to creating the race mod that you actually want to create. So first you create your mod just like normal. And in this, I've already created something so that I can just take you through it. And I've just gone through doing it again so that I know the right order for you. There's basically 5 steps, 5 different things that you want to create. And the first step has about like four or 5 different things that you need to do correct so that it actually functions. Load your level that you want to do the mod in, just like any other mod. Okay, so what you want to notice is we're going to be using stats, we're going to be using the UUI object editor, and we're going to be using the root templates editor. So what you want to first do is find the race that you want to create here in the shared folder, and say if you were going to find something like, you could find something like a tiefling or something like that, tiefling, female, Mephistopheles, something like this, and you'll notice that comes up there. You basically pop in you right click it and create new from selected, and you will change the name to, I don't know, my race mod or whatever. You create it, and you'll notice there's a big long list of stuff down here. Not sure why some of that's grayed out actually. It's a bit strange. Obviously. That will represent itself down here. So you click on this one that's in your mod folder, and you'll notice you'll be able to change all these things. Most of this stuff up here won't really matter except for one thing. See this tags? You need to go in here, you need to select playable and player race. Not sure which one actually makes it work, hence the intro of it being kind of correct, but also definitely partially incorrect. That's super important. Make sure you do that with tags. And then you'll notice a few more things further down. You'll notice this race one, which will get filled up a bit later. The stats one will get filled up a bit later. And you will notice, where is this common spell set? So this common spell set, you want your common player actions. And you want this to be player. And that should be it. You can change all sorts of other things here. You can change, for example, the scale that they have, the speed that they move at. So here, scale, sound, vocal. So this one is kind of messed up. So there's bass, tieflings, female Mephistopheles one is a little bit messed up. It doesn't have like the sound vocals and stuff. So probably selected the wrong one there. But what you could do to fix it would be to open another one like humans female variant or something and have that as a reference. Oh, this one doesn't have it either. That one might be messed up. I don't know. What about this? Does this one have it? Okay, so this has like different sound vocals. You might want those, you might not want those. I can't actually tell at the moment because I haven't game tested these. So those might be, that might be a thing that I get incorrect, okay? But basically, you've got that stats area where it's going to say race and playable and so on, and tags. They're the most important things in this when you create your thing. And you'll notice that I've got all the different things here, like for the different variations. So male and female are going to be different, and strong and normal are going to be different. So you get the base thing that you're going to base that off, and then so on. Okay, cool. The next thing that we do is create the stats. So if you notice in stats, shared in stats, there is something called the character. This is the one that you want to look at, and usually it's these hero ones that you take reference of. So you've got these human, variant human, subrace. I guess they were going to do something with variant humans, but I guess they didn't. Okay, so you have all these hero whatevers that you can use. I'm not sure if you can use the other ones. You might be able to, but you can just basically get, I don't know, depending on what you're creating, choose what makes most sense, and you right click on it and you create derived in, and that will come down here in your version of it. You create it, and basically here is the one that I created, because whether they were male or female, I didn't really care. The stats were going to be the same, so I just created one just to save on effort. You'll notice all this strength, dexterity, and so on. That won't do anything. That literally won't change anything. Changing the armor class will have an effect. This hit point thing won't do anything. XP reward, don't worry about that. That's if you kill your own character. Will it give you EXP? I think. Game size, yes, you can change that, but you can also change the scaling in here, like in the root templates. And then okay, so you'll notice that there's different things here. Obscurity without sneaking and block regain HP, undead construct. Just leave those kinds of things as they are. I believe this is for like the second act, so that it doesn't come back to life from the curse. Like if one of your characters die, they don't come back. That's what I assume it's for. I could be completely wrong. Your action resources, what you gain, what this race gains at the very start. So don't put any feats or passives there, just your action bonus, bonus action point, reaction action point, and you put that in there. You could potentially put in things like spell slots, potentially, I imagine. And you could potentially put in things like the action resources, like that they get from specific classes, like how the Battle Master class gets, those fighting points or whatever. You could put those in there. And passives. So you'll notice that this starts with just those basic passives that you want. And you could put other passives in here as well. And they would probably work. So if you want to put a passive in, you can put it in there, but you don't need to put it in here. Probably just keep them like they are, because there's in a step we do later, you can put them in a much better way that's not going to be like that. Also, bludgeoning resist, slashing resist, all this sort of stuff. You can change these, you can put those in. You can also put those in later as well. And though this is probably the easiest way to put those in. You can give them an initiative bonus. Don't worry about progressions. Dark vision range, there will be one if you choose one that has dark vision. And this stuff at the back is important for easy mode, so that when easy mode comes on, you get like the HP boost that comes when you select easy mode. Okay, so that's basically it. You don't really need to change this at all. Maybe what you might change this for is just to add a little bit of, like if you're giving them armor class or reducing their armor class or something like that. Or maybe you want to give it a resistance of some kind, or you want to change the action resources that they get initially, or you want to add like a passive. You could add a passive there. It'd be fine. I think it might break it. So test for yourself. All right. Once you've created the stats, you'll notice that you can actually put those in. Where is it? Down here somewhere. Where's the stats? Stats. Okay, so stats, right? You can type in your thing. So human, or was it hero? You can add in just any normal stats because it doesn't really matter. But here we've got hero human override. I'm actually pretty sure that's the case. I'm pretty sure it doesn't reference anything, does it? No, it doesn't reference anything. So that's just like some simple stats that goes in it. It's no problem. You could probably just pick one of the base default ones. And then you go into the UUID object editor. And in this one, there's 3 different things that are important. And generally start from the bottom here. So you start with races. And races, go up here. Look under these races. You'll notice there's these different races that are here. You can also look in shared dev and there'll be more races to check out that you can experiment with. And you would take the race that or the subrace that you're going to copy. There might be something I want to show here. No, it's fine for now. And you would right click. You might override in if it doesn't allow you to create a new one. It's fine. But you would just go to the start of this UUID and you would regenerate that value so it's basically a new thing that you're creating rather than it overriding the previous thing. If you regenerate the value, then you can recreate it. You would change the name and parent UUID. Okay, I think that's fine. It's fine. You can change your description, the name that you're going to be creating for this. Yes. Okay, so racist. Progression table. So this is the next thing that you're going to create is the progression table. This here in races is all the different things that you're going to be able to select in the character creator and what underwear they get. So make sure they have like some equipment, not like you mostly get your equipment from your class, but your underwear comes from this. And yeah, that's basically that. So you don't have to change too much once you've got like a reference for this one. Just the name and the description and that sort of thing. and you'll want to regenerate this one. You will also want to keep in mind that we're going to be changing this progression table UUID. So for now, just delete it so that we know to come back here, and keep a note to come back to here. After we do the next thing, which is progressions. So progressions for a race, you'll notice there's all kinds of different progressions. So if you go up to here, shared, races, you'll notice, not in races, sorry, progressions. You'll notice there's all kinds of things here, like classes, like there's progression type 0, then there's progression type 1, and then if you go a bit further down, there's going to be progression type 2. Progression type 2 is a racial progression type. So the humans have one, the elves have one, high elves have one. You can override what is already here, or you can create your own. And basically that's the same process where you would just take this, override in, and then that would appear down in your progressions here. Why didn't it appear? Progressions. Just doing it with this gnome one, right? Override in there. And then it would appear here. And to make sure that it's not overriding, you can just regenerate the value. Table UUID. You'd also want a new UUID here. So if you want to do that, you can just paste in a UUID there and regenerate this one. Just so that there's new UUIDs, because basically the table UUID is going to connect all the different levels together. So if you have variant human level 1, 2, 3, 4, and they're all going to take from the same thing, they have to have different UUIDs so that they get identified differently. But this is basically connecting them together. So it's like level 1, 2, 3, 4. You can skip a level if you want, like 1, 5, 7, if that's when something actually happens. You don't need it for every single level. And yeah, but you want to have this table UUID to be consistent for that class or subclass and what they're gaining, because this is what's actually going to define it, is the table UUID. Then if the race gives them something, you give them that feat here in passives added. And if it gives them specific boosts to movement, for example, like it changes their movement speed or changes their attributes, you can change those. You can also add other boosts here as well. That should work. So if you're familiar with any of the other ways to edit like classes and stuff, and there's different boosts that you can put in things, you can put them there as well. Selectors, much the same as how classes work. You can put selectors in. I don't think that's necessarily smart though, because it might not work, but it may. So you can test that out. Anyways, let me delete this. It's not really needed. Okay, so you just create these. And then what you do is you take this from your table UUID and you add that down into races. Oh, sorry, not its races, in your races. And you'll notice that this progression table UUID, or the one that we were searching for this one, we would put that where we didn't have it, right? And that's this one up here. Okay, but you would put the progression UUID that you just created that was in that table. So in the table UUID, like say if we were doing it for this one, we'd put this table UUID in there. Okay, so in this progression table UUID thing, what that will do is then it will look to this progression and then it will think, wait, what's the level? Oh, it's level 1, and it will take this UUID and it will select this whole list. And so then you'll end up actually getting these boosts. You'll notice that the boosts here have this movement here. If it doesn't, basically your character won't even be able to move. It will have 0 movement ability. If you create a class and it doesn't move, but there is a boosts in this section, then it's basically probably that you have selected the UUID rather than the table UUID to put in that progressions table, to put in this races progression table. The progression table and progressions, the table. So it's looking for the table, not the specific UUID, okay? And so long as that's okay, then that should function. Then you've got one last thing, which is your character creations presets. Okay, what's this? Subrace character creation presets. So you go up into character creation presets and character creation presets. And here you'll notice there's a bunch of different things here. And camera angles, root templates. I'm certain this does something, but I'm not sure what yet. But you want to create a character creation preset. So you'll find something that you want or that you like. So for myself, it was these humans. You'll notice that there's a subrace UUID here, and here there's like 0000. That's because humans don't have subraces. So if there's a specific subrace, it will get, the UUID will get put into this place here. So when you're creating races, and you've created this this race, or this race, for example, this race, this A427, is going to be A427 is going to be this subrace UUID for this one, because I created a subclass for the human. But if it's just going to be a class, then you would take from the races here and you would take you would take the same thing. So if this could be like a proper class, or it could just be a subclass, and that's going to change depending on where you put it here. So if you put it in the race UUID, it's going to change the race itself. But if you put it in the subrace UUID, then it's going to become a subrace. And I've got a thing here for this fiend thing, which didn't work. I couldn't figure out how to make a fiend, but I can get you most of the way there. So this one, I'll show you that it will actually display a race. And on this one, I'll get you to show you that it actually creates a subrace. Okay, so once you have taken your character creation preset from something in here, and you've said override in, and then made sure not to make it overwrite. So character creation presets. So you're like, if you're thinking, wait, I actually don't want it to override, then you would just reset or regenerate the value. That might cause problems, but it doesn't matter. I'm just thinking, yeah, don't do any changes. No, don't save. Okay, so let's go back to the female variant. Let's just go into that one. Open for edit. And you'll notice that there's a few different things here. In tags, you want to make sure that you have player and playable selected. In those tags, you want to then go down, make sure it's a player, make sure you get common player actions, make sure you give it stats, so human or hero, hero, human, either one's going to work. They should be teleportable, and you can have faction none, or you can have faction hero. And those are the important things. You can change more things down here and experiment with them, like scale, for example, or the speed at which you move, which is here. Strolling, walking, running. Let's just change that to something ludicrous. I don't know if that's actually going to change anything. That's on the humans female variant. So let's try to make a female variant. Okay, so once all those things are connected like that, then you go into the mod thingy. You select Control Shift F11, and then CC start new. Will allow you to test it. Go into the erasers, just to show you from before, like yes, the fiend that I created. Now it's loading in. Oh, that's cool. So let's just create this one actually. Oh, the movement speed is set to 0, so there's something wrong with that. Let me go back and fix that. So if the movement speed's set to 0, like I said, this is a common thing that happens. It's because it's not going. Am I in the UUID editor? I need to be in the UUID editor. UUID editor. I'll show you where I got that fiend thing in a second. It wasn't working before, so I was like, what? Why wasn't it working? So I wasn't going to show you that. But okay, erases. Races. UUID progression table. Progression table. It's the progression table, right? So I think I can probably just get that to work by putting this progression table in actually, because it doesn't need to be unique to itself. I'm just gonna see if this works. But basically the backup in progressions, yeah, fiend. Let me just take this one, actually. So it's your table UUID. That is the one that you want to be putting in. Go here and refresh. It's not working. Let me see if this one works. Copy, paste. Because I might have mocked something up that I didn't see. Oh no. It probably will work if I reload. It's not a big problem. I'll show you the variant human. That will work. So in here, CC start new. Race human. And you'll notice that this subrace comes up. That's because it doesn't have like an empty UUID there. If it has an empty UUID, it's not going to come up with a subrace, but if there is a UUID, it creates this subrace thing automatically. Yeah, I did some things that gave them extra stats so that I could test that it actually functioned. Okay. Oh, now she's moving. Okay. Yeah, so it's, oh, see, where I changed the speed on this. Whew, look at that go. Oh my God. I wonder if I change the, yeah, let me change the scale. Change the scale on this female variant. This female variant scale. Is that 2? See if that works. File, reload level. Guess it didn't. Or at least not yet. Can play around in here as well. What happens with scale? Game size? Let's just make all these big. See if that actually does anything. It might not. Yeah, that worked. Okay. Whoa. Huge, massive person. Okay, that's kind of cool. All right, so now with the Cambion, I did the exact same as the human. Ugh. This is all messed up now. Whatever. I did the exact same thing as a human, which is when you start the process, you go in here, you right click on this, and you look down here. And I just came across fiend. You can type it in. Fiend. Right, you also have these other cambions. Demon, devil. What's devil? No, it's the same looking. Beetle. Okay, Cambion. Alright. What about Cambion? The Beetle Fiend Cambion? No. This one. Okay. Shows base Cambion female. Right. Base Cambion male. Does that even show? Cambion male? Okay, so Cambion male shows. So I would base it off Cambion male and base Cambion female if I was going to do it. And you basically just take it, you create new from selected, you rename it, my mod, whatever, you don't want spaces, my mod. And you do all the same stuff. So you can change the display name if you want. And then it's tags. So you want the tags. Oh God. This is because it's still referencing this shared folder one. So if I go into my one, let me remove that filter. You can go to this Cambion mail one, you right click on it, open it for edit. And you'll be able to edit these things. Tags is the most important one. Block weapon actions, really? That's weird. Just delete that. Don't necessarily want those. Don't really care. I'd probably change the race tags to like tiefling rather than have this as whatever. Player, playable, and playable. I just put both in just because I don't know which one actually does it. Right, so tags is the most important one. And then you go down, make sure nothing funny is going on. You make sure player is on. Your race, you want this race to be the race that you created in UUID editor. So I think that was like Tiefling Mephistopheles feed this one. This is what I created in the editor, but I wonder if you have to create it different for the male. I don't think so. No. Yeah, I think you do actually. Maybe. No. Sorry. And then you change the stats. You change your stats to whatever hero stats you want. Hero, whatever, that'll do. And do you have to change anything else? Just change scale. Oh, let's not do that actually. That doesn't really do anything. 20, 20. Oh, that's crazy. No. All right, cool. And you can change acceleration. That's cool. I know there's some other weird stuff here like equipable, where if you don't have items equipable on them, that they'll show up naked. Where's that? Equipment. Nope, it's not there. It doesn't really matter. Don't worry about it. So you create that as your first step. Then once you have that and you save that, then you go into stats, create whatever stats you want. You might not be using new stats, so it doesn't really matter. But then you go into races, and I'm pretty sure you can just use the same race file for multiple, like if they're female or not. Yeah, you can. Good. Progression table, so on. So you just use that. So it can just use this one. Good. So use that. You make sure you have spell sets, common, player actions. That's super important as well. Race. Okay, you set up your new race thing. Cool. And then you go into the second step, which is progressions. My progressions are going to be the same for both of these. So not really bothered by that. So I'll just use this one. Progressions, races. Oh, it's already in there anyway. That's in this thing here. I bet the progressions would have worked on the other one anyway. So it's fine. It's just I didn't reload it. Okay, and then last, character creation presets. And this is where you need one for a male. So a male. How do we do that? Fiendish lady. This was based on Tiefling Asmodeus. So I went up here, character creation presets. Tiefling. Let's just make it the strong version. Because that looks like a strong dude. It doesn't look like a weak dude. So override in. Fiendish guy. Male strong. Root template. Don't think you need to change the root template. Maybe you do. Cambion female. UDEA. You can. So let's copy this GUID. And fiendish guy. Paste. Subrace. Nope, I don't want a subrace. So I just delete that and then just gazillion zeros until those lines are taken up. Then race UUID. Okay, so we need to regenerate this value. Regenerate value race UUID. Copy. Paste. And then that should work. Should work. May not necessarily work initially. And then that should function. Yep, save everything. Get out of the way, lady. Alright, so Shift Control F11, CC Start New. Actually, before I do this, let's reload the level. Start new. Oops. Control Shift 11. CC start new. Boom. Race feed. You can see there's a girl there. Let's see if the guy changes. See, it goes to the base human. That's what was happening before. Totally fine with that because it might change if I was to restart. So I'd basically I did the same steps as this one, but it wasn't working initially. So I'm pretty confident this guy's going to turn into a demon later. But it's just that I think you need to close the program and then restart the program, and then it should be fine. So let me pause and restart, and then we'll get back to it. So I'll be right back. I think I'm back. Okay, so it did work when I restarted everything. So what you'll notice is, yes, there's these 4 different body types here. Because 2 of them aren't filled in, they just appear as humans. But the female one appears as female, and the male one appears as a male. If we go into this fiend thing and we add appearances, I believe we can change appearances. Hair and stuff. Not sure how well that will work. Let's give him like a beard. That's easier to notice. And then proceed. Something happened there. Oh, because I didn't change something about whatever. It's just gone into... That's actually kind of useful. I like that they've just suddenly started attacking each other. That's cool. Anyways, he's got a beard. The beard. Yeah, you can see he's got a beard and a hairdo. And he's also got... I think he's got his default armor on. So this doesn't fix like what his armor looks like. So there's still a few kinks to work out, obviously. But yeah, if you go, I bet you this Cambion male is like a certain faction or something, like hostile. Notice how huge he is? That's because we set the scale for him to be larger. Not this scale, but the one in the other one. It's not those. Cast shadow. These speeds would need to be reset. Because they're not there right now. I'm not sure why they're not there. They might have limits. Height, radius, climbing. I'm sure he's just got a faction, right? No, he hasn't got a faction. Oh, he's a boss. That's why. So he's boss. That's likely why it went into that. Doesn't even have stats. I'm sure it does have stats. Common player actions. So let's just give it hero stats. I don't care. You can have the dwarf stats. I don't care. Reload level. Hopefully they all chill out. But that's actually really useful because that means you can create an enemy that you can kind of fight in this thing, which I didn't know how to do before. Oh, it's still doing it. It might be because it needs to be restarted and reset. But yeah, that's the basics of creating a race mod. I know that's not the best ending because it's like, what? What if that happens to mine? It might happen, but it's just going to be one of these. And then you're going to have to exit the toolkit and then re-enter the toolkit. You can change their blood and things as well. That actually works. Like you can make it silver like an Asimar. Can fight archetype. Teleportable. Good, he's teleportable. Player. Lootable. Influence treasure level. That's so weird. No. It's probably in tags, maybe. Monster. It could be something to do with like the fact that it's a monster tag. It's interesting. Why wouldn't the female have it then? Let's see if the female has it. If the female has it. Cambion female. Open for edit. Tags. It has monster, so it can't be the monster thing. Because she was totally fine. If I go back in. Sorry, it's just got me totally loose. Okay, CC. Start respec. Ooh, that's interesting. Start respec. Okay. It won't do it in combat. I wonder if it'll do it out of combat. If I'm really fast. No, it won't do it. So it won't do it while it's in combat, but that's interesting. Anyways, so as interesting as all that is, that's basically the basis of creating a race mod. Is you create the based off this, and you change this. You can create a stats thing. It doesn't change too much, but then you go into the UUID editor, and there's 3 specific things. These are the big things: races, progressions, which is where you're going to put most of your abilities, and then character creation presets. This is the one I know least about, but it's pretty important. And if you're creating like like a fiend or something. I'm pretty sure that the root template is the UUID, like the GUID that you get from this thing. So like you would take that, but the one that it's created in your mod, which is going to be a unique GUID from everything else, and then it's going to inherit all this stuff, or at least the looks. I'm not sure if that has to be done like that, so it might be wrong, but that's what made these things appear. So yeah. And it is in races that you see most of the preset type stuff, like what's hair colors, graying skin colors. These function. We can tell that by the fact that this guy has a beard. Let's look at him. And he's also got a different face as well, which we selected. And he's got a different haircut and all that sort of stuff. Well, grandfather demon. All right, so so there it is. You can create your race mods now, most likely. Like you could probably select an orphan and do the same stuff. And yeah, get it to at least functionally work. Don't know so much about the clothing here. That might be messed up, but there you go. I hope that helps. And you may have to just do a bit of fiddling around yourself to be able to figure out exactly what works and how. But like I said, there's the basics that you change in here. Then there's some small things you can do in stats, but most of it's going to be done in the UUID editor, races, progressions, and the important thing about progressions is you're looking for progression type 2. And the important part about subraces and races, where essentially you take this table UUID and you put that into the character creations presets where it asks for the table. Where does it ask for it? Yeah. Even I can't remember my own advice. So, subrace. Okay, so the thing from races, right, that you have here, thing from races, it like parent UUID, progressions. Okay, so the progressions table goes into races, into this thing, right? And then the races thing, you take the UUID of your race or your subrace, and then depending on where you put it, it's going to be a subrace or a race. So this is going to make a race, and this is going to make a subrace. Okay? So that's the main stuff, all right? And yeah. All right, take it easy, and I hope that helps. I know it's not perfect, but you should at least be able to make stuff to play around with and have it actually come up and function. So yeah. All right, take it easy and have fun learning how to mod Baldur's Gate 3.